So what I'm going to do in my presentation is give you a brief update on the INF staff. I think it's quite useful if on these occasions we can just remind you who we have working on your behalf. I shall be reporting for the first time on our strategic plan, Netball 2020, and providing evidence of progress towards achieving our goals. I shall describe to you the process that led to the publication of the plan and the 3 core strategies. And then finally, I shall provide you with an overview of the programs that we're working on in 2017 and in the period to the next Congress in 2019, which I know will go very, very quickly. So here we are. This is my team. We did, the positions did seem to make sense based on what we do and how we act with one another, and I see myself very much as a part of my netball team. So here we are from left to right. We have Angela Sanderson, financial accountant. Now, you don't want to get on the wrong side of her, so she's lovely, but she does control the funds on our behalf, and she's a great asset to the team. She works part-time, but the amount of times she's on call, you wouldn't like to know. In fact, she's probably there right now dealing with things for us. So that's Angela on the left. Then Nikki Richardson, Head of Communications, who's here today. Would you give us a wave, Nikki? You've probably been feeding Nikki stories over the last couple of years, and we love to share your stories with the world, so please keep doing that if you've got any ideas and contributions. She's the lady, top lady. She's been working really hard trying to get all the communications in place for this, and everything's crossed for the live streaming, so good job, Nikki. Oh, yes, that's me, looking a bit shabby there, but that was actually on our team workshop in Liverpool in February, so a team building day, which we all recommend you do with your teams. And then there's Christina, our international umpiring manager, who lots of you have been engaging with Christina in the umpiring programs, the OAGs, as we call them, the officiating advisory groups. We really thank all the contributions that a lot of you and your teams have made on the officiating side. We've even been involving people who aren't normally on the officiating side involved in the programs to make sure that the officiating fits with the event management and things like that. So Christina, she is here in Botswana. I'm sure you saw her last night. She's actually busy with the event today and was busy with the event yesterday with all the UAP meetings and everything, but I hope you'll get an opportunity to meet Christina. In fact, I was reflecting, it was 2 years ago when she just started and she gave her first presentation to you all. And, as the ad said, we've come a long way, baby. So that's Christina. Maggie Ross, a little round of applause for Maggie, who celebrated her 10th year with the INF this year. So Molly, when you started off as president, you were there before her and some of our board, but Maggie is the longest standing member of the INF team in the Secretariat, and that was a great achievement. So Maggie is our administration manager, and she provides a direct support to yourselves and feeds out all the queries that come into to the office. So when you send an email into inf@netball.org, it comes into her, and then she makes sure it gets to the right person. And it's absolutely essential for me and the rest of my team when we're traveling that we make sure that things don't just land in an inbox and sit there for weeks. So if you ever need anything, you can't get hold of the rest of us, Maggie normally knows where we are. So please, I'll tell her that you gave her a round of applause. She'll be delighted, and she will see you in Liverpool in 2 years' time. So you make sure, and she came to the Congress in Scotland. So make sure you say hello to her in Liverpool. And then we have a new member of staff who will only be with us for a short period. She's our intern, and that's Imogen Talbot, who has done a terrific amount of work. Her first role was to build our new website, so you can see her work in action. She's also been working on NetWorld. She's a recent graduate. She is a netballer, you can tell from her size. She played for Aberystwyth University. And she's with us on a temporary period, learning all about how international sport works, and is seeking opportunities for work in the near future. So she's been a brilliant asset to the team. And of course, on the far right, we have Joan Smith. Joan, who's here today, a little wave from Joan. So I think most of you do know Joan. She's been involved in international netball for a very long time, obviously as a player originally. And we couldn't really do what we do in Africa without Joan. So thank you very much, Joan, for all of your efforts. Very busy last week with the Africa Championships and immediately on form again here in Gaborone. So thank you, Joan. And it's lovely to be on your continent. So following on from the Congress in Sydney 2 years ago, we began the strategic planning process for this cycle. And this slide outlines the key stages, a fairly straightforward strategic planning process for those of you that get involved in that. The INF board, staff, and I reviewed the progress made in the last 4-year plan. And along the way, we asked our key stakeholders for their views. That wasn't a formal thing. We do it all the time. We visit with you, we speak to you on the telephone, we test out some of our thinking. And very much involving people outside of the sport of netball, because we don't operate in isolation in the sporting world. We are part of a global sporting community, and we do actually care what other people think about us, and that we are attracting people into the sport who haven't heard of netball before. That's a key part of our raison d'etre, is to grow the sport. So significant progress had been made during the quadrennial, with milestones such as the launch of the new brand profile. That was way back in 2012, through to the first Netball World Cup. And it's great to have Marnie here, who is now CEO of Netball Australia, who was obviously the CEO of the Netball World Cup. What a great spectacle, what a great experience that was for us. So with all those wonderful things going on in that 4-year, one of the things that INF was able to clarify was our USP, our unique selling proposition in the sporting world. And I'm going to quote Molly here, and you may have read this quotation. The power of sport, of women's sport, and in particular, and of netball in particular, to change lives is extraordinary. And I always get a bit of a tingle when I hear Molly say that, and we put it into Netball 2020, our strategic plan. And we really do believe that we aren't just part of a great game. We aren't just part of a great game, we're part of a socially responsible sports movement, and one that could be recognised universally for its positive impact on people and communities around the world. And we spent a lot of time honing that vision, that strategic direction for INF. The board, we spent a lot of time thinking about the words that went into that vision. And I hope that it really resonates with you all. And it is much more than just the game on the court. And I hope you realise that. And I realise that when I see all these great women and men involved in netball here today, on court, around the world, when I see our great role models, our players, that we really are part of that global movement, and we should celebrate that whenever we come together. Our mission or purpose is that INF promotes empowerment by working with you, our members, from grassroots through to elite, to provide safe and supportive environments, to develop life skills and to sustain growth. There are some key words in that statement, our mission. We really do believe that we have a role to operate at the grassroots. Although you're delivering at grassroots, we should be able to assist where we can. Some of you have large resources and some of you have very little. And what we can do is share the learning and the knowledge from those with more resources to assist those that wish to develop. But we have over 20 million women and girls and men involved in netball, and so we have a great strength at the grassroots, much stronger than many other sporting codes, and we should celebrate that. But we should also celebrate those that are achieving at the highest level and encourage our role models around the world to be out there. We also talked about providing safe and supportive environments, and that's quite a bold statement for an international federation to make to the world, that actually safeguarding is fundamental. And I think that's something that, as a predominantly women's sport, we can be proud of. And we do talk to you a lot about safeguarding because it comes naturally to us. I don't have to persuade the board that safeguarding is an important thing. We have a strong belief in welfare. And we are about developing, not just developing netball skills, but life skills. And we look to sustain growth, not only as individuals, our individual growth, but growth in the sport and growth in our friendships around the world. We felt it was important to be able to articulate our culture and beliefs. And so we developed a set of values to guide our behaviours, and I hope those resonate with you all. We aspire to excellence in everything we do. We hold the principles of fairness and integrity at the heart of our sport. We create opportunities to foster lifelong friendship through the love of netball. And the key words in that, of course, are excellence, fairness and integrity, and friendship. So thank you for my friends for coming and being with us here. Here's some imagery which depicts our 3 core strategies. I hope you're not going to get too bored with this, but we want you all to be singing our mantra when you go home. So governing with integrity, thrilling world-class events, and empowering through netball. If you remember nothing else from this Congress, please remember those 3 things. And I know you're already living and breathing those strategies, but we really want to help you do more in those areas. And if we've got all of us singing off the same hymns sheet, and all of our members, all your members, and those 20 million women and girls out there, boy, we're a powerful movement. So firstly, governing with integrity. So we've identified 3 goals for each. We do things in threes. 3 strategies, 3 goals. So the first goal is around maintaining an exemplary governance framework that is the benchmark for the sport of netball. I guess our ambitions are probably more than that. We'd actually like to be the best in the world in this, and I think we have the opportunity to do that. So you heard already from Molly that in 2016 we established a governance working group, and that reviewed the governance guidelines produced by the IOC and ASOIF, the summer sports, and we did that in order to benchmark our own practice. And this work is going to be shared with member federations at the Congress workshops, and members will be encouraged to carry out their own governance reviews. So this group has made recommendations to the INF board regarding changes to the Articles of Association for the INF. I'm sure you've all read those really carefully in your board packs, and we'll be looking at those later. So they will be proposed to the members for approval later today. The group also reviewed the committees and working groups that work on behalf of the INF to ensure they support the delivery of the strategic plan. And they also created a board skills matrix and identified areas for further development. The second goal is to have engaged and proactive members and regional federations, and here you all are. So, a workshop programme has been devised that will provide members with an insight into the 3 core strategies of Netball 2020, and you know this will be delivered starting on Saturday, running through to Friday next week. So I hope as many of you that are able attend those, and if you yourselves are leaving and you have representatives from your federation that are present, let us know, we can sign them up to come into those workshops. So this is all about spreading the learning and learning from you as well, so do come along to those. The Audit and Finance Committee provided a guidance paper to members and regions based on the INF Articles of Association that outline the areas that should be included in their own constitutions or governance documents. The Governance Working Group compared the activities of the 5 INF regions and will facilitate a workshop for the representatives here to share this work and consider the role of the regions in the delivery of Netball 2020. Africa Netball has benefited from 2 safeguarding events organised in conjunction with UK Sport, utilising the safeguards for children in sport developed by UNICEF UK Limited. I think for those of you that were at Congress last year, we talked about those. And that's a project that the INF has actively supported since 2012. Making sports safe for children is a cause that INF is committed to and actively promoting within international sport. The third goal is for netball to remain a drug-free sport. INF remains committed to the promotion of drug-free sport and supporting the clean athlete. A testing program was implemented that was proportionate to the relatively low risk of doping in netball. 0 anti-doping rules violations were reported in our sport in 2015 and 2016, and long may it continue that way. INF continues its anti-doping education program, ensuring that members are aware of developments in this area, including the updates to the WADA banned substances list and their responsibilities under the INF anti-doping rules. And we know that anti-doping education will be made available to the under-21 teams, the players and support personnel here at the Netball World Youth Cup 2017, and to members, administrators during those Congress workshops. WADA has recently launched a questionnaire to assess compliance of each international federation with the WADA code, and INF has submitted its response to this in May. So we're all on track so far. So moving on to thrilling world-class events now. So our fourth goal is to ensure a profitable and engaging event portfolio delivered through capable event management. There's a lot in there. So INF has built on the success of the Netball World Cup 2015, hosted by Netball Australia in Sydney. So netball is benefiting globally from increased media coverage, TV, digital and social, for both domestic leagues and international matches. Netball is on the rise. Hashtag. The INF board attended the finals day of the World University Netball Championship, organised by the United States International University Sports Federation on behalf of FISU, which is the International University Sports Federation, at St. Thomas's University in Miami. The event was a great success, with volunteers coming from around the world to play their part. We already heard today that South Africa won the gold medal. I'll give a mention to Jamaica, who came silver, and Australia the bronze medal in that tournament. Uganda came fourth, and I'd just like to put in a word because Uganda will be hosting the third World University Netball Championship in 2018. So good luck to Uganda for that. That's obviously the university body that's putting that on. And we hope we would encourage as many of you that have links with your university body to put forward a team for that. The African Netball Championships was the test event for that, and I know Joan is really looking forward to that competition next year. Fast 5 Netball World Series saw netball take a successful walk on the wild side in Melbourne, Australia in October 2016, with over 11,500 fans enjoying the action live and 1.4 million viewers tuning into the Nine network across the weekend. Netball New Zealand's Fast 5 Ferns won the series, with Netball Australia's Fast 5 Flyers in the silver medal position. And the series returns there on the 28th and 29th of October 2017. We can't wait. The organising committee of the Netball World Cup 2015 assisted the INF with a thorough review of the INF Event and Commercial Operations Manual, and this learning is now being shared with the hosts of future INF events, including the Netball World Youth Cup here, and also the Netball World Cup Liverpool 2019. It's our Bible, isn't it? I can see someone from the organising committee here. And we use that to ensure that our events are world-class and attractive to fans, media and sponsors alike. So, in response to member feedback at the last Congress, a working group was established to review the draw format for the Netball World Cup through consultation with members, direct involvement from organising committees of the Netball World Cup 2015 and 2019, in comparison with other sports, and this group will report to members later. So goal 5 is to have a fair and transparent bid process. I think we always have done, but there are certain media that are concerned about how events are awarded to countries, and we can be sure that we do maintain a fair process and it's open so that everybody understands how we progress that. Bidding for the Netball World Youth Cup 2021 reached its conclusion, and we heard already this morning that Fiji was successful. So we really look forward to working with the organising committee, and I've got some meetings lined up with Fiji whilst they're here to start planning the next one. So you enjoy the one here and we'll be thinking about the next one. Is that right, Fiji? So the final goal in Thrilling World Class Events is around world-class standards in officiating. So the international umpiring community has benefited from the appointment of Christina, the IUM, in 2015. 5 regional officiating coordinators, sometimes called ROCs, ROCs, were appointed to support the programme, and international appointments for match officials and umpires appointment panel, the UAP, for international events are now managed through the new structure. And it's good to see that working. We've had the largest number of appointments we've ever made this year through that process, and it's been terrific. I won't give you too much of a hard time. Actually, I will. Please, can you send in your umpire request forms nice and early, not the day before. Okay, so officiating advisory groups involving representatives from members have defined the International Umpires Award testing panel programme. They've completed initial work on IUA and event categorisation, and they've reviewed and updated the IUA testing programme and created a handbook for international umpiring. That's all on the website. It's an online handbook, so all your resources are there when you need them in the middle of the night when we're all asleep and you're awake. So the INF website has that dedicated area for officiating where all these useful documents may be downloaded. We've now got, I think it's 36 IUAs, International Umpire Award umpires, and 10 ITID, International Talent Identified umpires. And I shall apologise, good job Christina's not here. She'll probably tell me we've got more now since when I wrote this. It's a great programme, and it's good to see that talent coming through. And in 2017, we're working to define a meaningful benchmark for world-class officiating to measure our performance and progress. So then our third area, empowering through netball, and here the goal is to achieve recognition from our stakeholders through our communications and actions that netball, the INF and our members are seen as a force for good. So Netball 2020, as you know, was launched last year and to both our members and our external stakeholders. And in 2017, we're implementing some market research in this area to see if our new strategic plan is gaining traction with our stakeholders. Goal 8 is the communications area, which is very much Nikki's area. And we wish to have effective, frequent and meaningful dialogue with our stakeholders, including the INF members and regional federations, our sponsors, our funders, the media, key global organisations and the opinion formers around the world to ensure our activities remain attractive and relevant to their developing needs. So our marketing communications have stepped up once again in 2016. You've heard about the launch of our new website, which was last year, and increased social media presence. We even have an Instagram account these days. Our Netball World News email newsletter provides regular updates to our stakeholders and provides a platform to promote the work of all our member associations. It's great, actually. We sit there and we get to tell all your great stories, so please keep them coming in. Our final goal is around our Netball World Development Programme, and having that in place to grow membership and build capacity through the regions, particularly in countries with little or no opportunity for women and girls to develop outside the family home. So netball playing countries number well over 120 now. However, many countries need assistance to establish an effective administration and to complete the steps to become a member of the INF. INF works with partners such as UK Sport and with the more established and better resourced members to assist in the development of new associate members and with the transition from associate to full membership, which is a big step when you start to play test matches and you get a world ranking, and that's a great significant moment for any member federation. In 2016, our development programs include the awarding of net effect grants, which are made through the regional federations now, providing small grants to support netball development programs, including coaching and officiating workshops, guidance in governance and administration, and development of event management skills. INF has now, as you've heard, established a sustainability and development working group, and Sue Taylor, our Vice President, is chairing this group. We're looking through that to promote the promotion and empowerment of women and girls through philanthropy and fund development. We know it takes money to actually build these programs. So this is a brand new activity for us, and we look forward to telling you more about that over the next 2 years. INF is committed to empowering through netball, and we've been able to create the intern role at the Secretariat to provide a workplace placement opportunity. We really would have loved to have brought in a lady from South Africa for our second intern, and unfortunately it's quite challenging with the immigration status in the UK now, and we've not been able to get a visa for her. But Sam Marie Slowbush is here today, and she's been a great help. We brought her in just as a volunteer for these 2 weeks. And it was our vision, really, to bring in somebody from outside of the UK. So we will be looking for a new intern, but they might have to be eligible to work already in the UK. And I'm really sorry. Sometimes our vision doesn't quite meet with government policy. So we'll work harder next time. We'll talk to Theresa May. So, coaching resources. So our coaching advisory panel have been developing resources for members. The INF coaching manual for the intermediate level is now available online to download. So that's just gone up this week, and thanks to Nikki. I'm looking at Nikki here because she's made that happen with Imogen. As well as a series of high-performance coaching workshops filmed at the Netball World Cup. So you can now download the video from the Netball World Cup. CAP attended the Nations Cup in Singapore in 2016 and ran very successful intermediate-level coaching workshops attended by 80 coaches from the Asian region. And this course will be repeated here next week on Tuesday and Wednesday morning at competition venue 2. So I'm really hoping a lot of you or your coaches will attend that. So it's aimed at the intermediate level, live on-court netball coaching skills, an opportunity not to be missed. My last slide outlines our current work programme. So the main activities in 2017 is the delivery of a successful Netball World Youth Cup in Gaborone. We know the local organising committee has stepped up to the challenges of hosting a world event and will ensure that the 20 competing countries have a memorable experience. So I just wanted to draw your attention to a couple of other items on this screen. So in the governing with integrity area, one of the things that we're going to do immediately following Congress is to send out a notice that we're going to reappoint the coaching advisory panel and the rules advisory panel. So we'd like to ask for nominations for those positions. We'll send out the terms of reference for that, and we'd like nominations for that. We'd like those to come through the countries. So all the details will be in the email that you get before the end of this month, and we'd like nominations by the end of September. So the new positions would start from the 1st of April next year, but it gives us an opportunity to interview. We have set up a panel to actually look at the applications for that, and we look forward to having your members. The current members will be eligible to reapply, but we're hoping that we'll also get some fresh applications as well. So that's one important thing for you. I'd just like to, on the middle section, identify the World Games, which is an event that's happening in Wrocław, Poland. I apologize if anybody from Poland is there. That's not how you pronounce it. But it's happening right after our Netball World Youth Cup. And this is the event where a lot of sports attend prior to them becoming in the Olympic Games. And netball was a part of the World Games some time ago. But we've been looking very seriously about whether we should put netball into the World Games in 2021, which will be held in Atlanta, Birmingham, Alabama, in the USA. And so one of the things we'd want to gain from you is feedback from you all about the inclusion of netball in that. We have an opportunity to put an expression of interest into the World Games this year. We've been talking to them and to the organising committee, and they're great and they're really enthusiastic about netball. Their preferred netball game is Fast 5, so it's possible that could be our World Championship for Fast 5, and we'd like to hear your views on that. I think the last thing that I'd just like to mention on that screen is around developing a coaching strategy. So I'm spending a bit of time with the coaching advisory panel at their meeting next week to talk through, like we have done with you today, the Netball 2020 strategic plan and how we can really build on those themes in terms of all of the coaching activities that we do. We've been operating under one strategy for the last 4 years, and we'd really like to build what we can do in terms of coaching around the world. So there you are. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we've been up to and what we're planning on doing in the next 2 years. Thank you so much for listening to my report today. On behalf of the INF board, I should be delighted to take questions after Anne Todd has spoken, our finance director, who's going to provide a report on the financial position of the INF. Thank you very much.